defend our country, and that's from Tam. Adam, if you get anything you want to say to that?
Well, obviously, like, we better just ask the Irish, because obviously they're getting invaded all the time. We better see how they got on, you know. And Liechtenstein and Andorra did recently.
Because the Faroe Isles are always coming down and, you know, launching raids.
These raids, the Viking raids, you know, that have started up again after 1,000-year absence, you know what I mean? So.
With, I mean, like the terrorist attack at Glasgow Airport, if something like that was to happen, or I mean, how would we? Well,
obviously the idea would be to ask the question, do we really want to be gaining any excuse to attack us? Or do we want to conduct ourselves in a way far morally superior to the way the British Empire, in whatever guise it has taken on, has ever conducted itself? So do we want to gain an excuse to attack us, or do we want to conduct ourselves peacefully everywhere we go and build up brilliant relations with everybody in the world? Sorry, it's just a question for a question, but you know...
But just second to that, at the moment we can defend our shores adequately with the Ministry of Defence infrastructure that we have, which is quite extensive in this country. You know, there's a lot based here, air bases, naval bases, etc. But when when Scotland actually becomes its own, it takes its fair share of that slice of the Ministry of Defence. It's not Britain's to take away from us. It's actually ours, should we say. We would have to actually negotiate exactly what we want, but yes, we would have basically our sort of half of the army. Navy,
I've actually got another wee text in as well. Do you back Scotland remaining as part of Europe and switching to the euro, or otherwise what currency would we use?
Well, it's an interesting one, but it's one of those things where I would sort of direct that towards Wieck and his mob over at the Parliament, to be honest, because we're not in the business of defining for Scotland what currency they should be using. We're just a couple of blokes in here for a wee gap, you know, as it were. But, I mean, David, you might have something to add to that?
Well, I would say my feeling on it is probably that to move over to the euro is probably the most stable currency with which to float with. But in saying that, the pound was originally Scottish, so I'd quite like to keep it for that reason, you know. But yeah, it's an economic thing. Whichever one's actually going to be the most sound for us, then go for it. It doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. It's just whichever's better
sorry
for
whoever texted in, that was pretty vague.
Okay, I'll just move on to the next song. You've got 7 minutes, listeners, if you have any questions for Adam and David.
We'll answer them quickly.
I got my first real 6-string, boy.
Okay, I'm going to have to finish off soon, but I'm just going to read out this text and you can respond to it. The question is almost as vague as a couple of guys that want to, quote, live in the gutter.
Almost as vague as living in the gutter? There's nothing vague about living in the gutter. It's wet, it's dirty, but I'm prepared to do it.
Okay, I think we're out of time, guys. On that note, thank you very much for coming into the studio and expressing your points of view. They've been very interesting, controversial and inspirational.
Long live Scotland.
And I hope you'll come in again if I get someone who totally disagrees with you.
Oh, aye.
You can fight it out on the air.
Right, and
if they want to have a go, then
we'll be camping outside in the gutter waiting for them.
Indeed we will.
Okay, thanks very much.
Right, cheers anew.
Okay, so that's it for tonight. Tune in next week and I shall be interviewing Nicola Sturgeon. You might even see me on the streets of Govan with my big fluffy microphone collecting in some questions. And you can also give me a wee email in at sunnygovernradio@hotmail.com. I'll give you that number, 07797 805 387. So that's it for next week and I hope you've enjoyed the show and I'll speak to you all soon.